if you're a college player and you're a great college player, like Caitlin was, the delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on like she's third or fourth in betting odds on being MVP of the WNBA. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid that it gives women's basketball a bad name. Okay, so the kid was set up for failure right from the beginning. On the wrong team, she's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league, and she's a rookie.
No, baby, if Caitlin Clark is on the team, it becomes the right team. Because Caitlin Clark is on it. It's like saying Michael Jordan's not on the right team. It's the right team if Michael Jordan is on the roster.
If you're a college player and you're a great college player like Caitlin was, the delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on what are like she's third or fourth in betting odds on being MVP at the WNBA. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid that gives women's basketball a bad name. Okay, so the kid was set up for failure right from the beginning, remember? This moment Geno Auriemma once thought he had Caitlin Clark completely figured out, a flashy player who in his words wasn't ready to shake up the basketball world with a fan base he claimed was living in a fantasy, but reality has a funny way of proving people wrong. And this time it hit Auriemma hard on live TV, no less. The same Caitlin Clark he criticized as not built for WNBA physicality has shattered expectations, turning skeptics into fans and Geno into her most unlikely supporter. This kid's on the wrong team, she's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league, and she's a rookie. Clark's freshman season wasn't just good, it was groundbreaking, from electrifying performances that lit up the court to smashing records that will stand for years. She silenced critics in the loudest way possible with her game, and in doing so she made even her harshest detractor change his tune. Auriemma, the coaching legend known for his unshakable opinions, was forced to offer the kind of admiration no one saw coming. But here's the real question: how did we get here? How did one of basketball's most iconic coaches go from doubting Clark to acknowledging her greatness? The backstory is as fascinating as the turnaround itself, and what followed was nothing short of headline gold. Geno, baby, if Caitlin Clark is on the team, it becomes the right team because Caitlin Clark is on it. It's like saying Michael Jordan's not on the right team, it's the right team if Michael Jordan is on the roster at all. Started with a statement that sent shockwaves through the basketball world. Appearing on the Dan Patrick Show, Geno Auriemma, the legendary UConn coach, didn't hold back. He boldly criticized Caitlin Clark's fan base, calling them delusional and claiming they were setting her up for failure. His reason: he didn't see Clark as being built for the physicality of the WNBA. Nor did he believe she had the quickness to handle the league's aggressive defenders. What does bother me is some of the people I deeply respect, their basketball credentials, their basketball history, their commitment to basketball and women's basketball, I think have really not covered themselves in glory with some of this commentary. To truly understand Auriemma's doubts, you have to rewind to Clark's college days at Iowa. She wasn't just a star, she was a phenomenon whose impact on the court was seismic. Her long-range shooting bordered on jaw-dropping. Her leadership turned the Hawkeyes into national contenders, and her ability to score at will made her the talk of the basketball world. By the time she was selected as the top pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, she had already achieved household name status. But Auriemma wasn't impressed. To him, success and didn't necessarily translate to dominance in the pros unless you're from UConn, that is, and Diana said it best: this kid's in for a rude awakening. The basketball world quickly took sides. Clark's supporters pointed to her relentless work ethic, her unmatched basketball IQ, and her uncanny ability to deliver when it mattered most. Her critics, including WNBA legend Diana Taurasi, sighed with Auriemma, questioning whether her collegiate brilliance could translate to the unforgiving pace and physicality of the pro game. The divide was clear, and the pressure on Clark to prove herself couldn't have been higher. Like I said earlier, they actually had odds that she was like third or fourth in the betting odds to be MVP at a WNBA. That's such a slap in the face to every WNBA player. It's unbelievable, right? But if there's one thing Clark has always done, it's rising to the occasion. That determination set the stage for what would become one of the most memorable debut seasons in WNBA history. Clark didn't just meet expectations, she obliterated them. Leading the Indiana Fever, she posted astonishing stats: 19, 2 points, 8 for assists and over 5 rebounds per game. Her offensive brilliance turned heads, but it was her ability to elevate her teammates and control the tempo of games that left critics speechless. Along the way, she smashed an unprecedented 62 records, a feat that silenced even her most vocal doubters. You never know how quickly they're going to adapt to the WNBA game coming from college. And I think that Caitlin has done surprisingly well how quickly she's adapted to this game. There's a lot of doubters out there, as we all know, and she has proved them all wrong. And then there were the moments that defined her season, the buzzer beaters that sparked wild celebrations, the triple-doubles that became social media sensations, and the clutch plays in high-stakes games that showcased her poise under pressure. Clark wasn't just proving she could hang with the pros, she was demonstrating that she belonged among the league's brightest stars. Her resilience, leadership, and sheer talent made her rookie season one for the ages. For Auriemma, the freshman slump he had predicted never materialized. Instead, he found himself watching as the very player he doubted shattered expectations. The question now wasn't whether Clark could handle the WNBA, it was how far her star would rise. And how did all of this lead to Geno Auriemma publicly reversing his stance? That's where the story takes an unexpected and fascinating turn. That's the worst part about new fans. They have no perspective, there's no context, so they just say ridiculous nonsense. Before we dive into what Geno actually said, let's understand why the sudden change of heart. Was it the undeniable brilliance of Caitlin Clark's debut season, or is there more to the story? Watching her dominate the WNBA certainly could have changed his mind. But not everyone is convinced his newfound admiration is entirely genuine. Rival league is picking up players, and they're getting ready to make a big splash in January with this league. Here's where it gets interesting. Geno Auriemma has a significant financial stake in Unrivaled, the UPenn coming 3-on-3 basketball league that has been aggressively pursuing Clark. The league sees her as a game-changer, a star who could single-handedly elevate its profile and bring in fans. And Geno's glowing remarks, they came at the perfect time to raise speculation. Was this a heartfelt acknowledgement of her greatness or a strategic move to win her over? And while Clark has already turned them down, she can still show up to support the games or publicly praise the new league, therefore elevating its profile overnight. She has decided not to do Unrivaled, even though Aaliyah Boston's doing it, Lexi Hull is doing it, Kate Martin is doing it. And despite all the rumors and I'm sure the push that was put on her, but Clark has all the leverage in this situation, and I'm not saying she flexed it, but she was comfortable enough in her position to make the decision, and it appears that answer is no. The timing has raised more than a few eyebrows. Could this be a case of flattery with an ulterior motive? Fans and analysts alike have debated whether his public praise was genuine or part of a calculated long game to bring Clark into the fold maybe next year. So what did Geno really say during a game where Caitlin Clark was in attendance to support her former Iowa Hawkeyes? Something unexpected happened. Fox College Hoops had prepared a tribute video, a heartfelt montage of her college highlights, interwoven with messages from former teammates, coaches, and even rivals. It was a moment designed to celebrate her impact, and it delivered in every way. Unless you have been living under a rock, you have heard about Caitlin Clark. She's just a generational player and makes everybody around her better. Caitlin Clark will go down as one of the best to ever play the game. Women's basketball is under the spotlight right now because of Caitlin, and I think that will have an impact forever. The tribute included touching words from basketball stars like Paige Beckers and Guga Watkins, as well as her former coaches Lisa Bleer and Jan Jensen. Watkins, who had faced Clark on the court, said with admiration, "She's been great. I'm really excited for her at this next stage." The praise flowed effortlessly, highlighting not just Clark's jaw-dropping skills, but also the character and leadership she displayed both on and off the court. Great player, good person as well. She's been great, and I'm really excited for her at this next stage in her career. Caitlin Clark becomes the all-time leading scorer, major college basketball, another forever moment for this transformational superstar. But what left everyone talking wasn't just the glowing praise from her supporters. What truly stole the show was how even her harshest critics had softened their tone. Geno Auriemma, once one of Clark's loudest doubters, was now offering something no one expected: genuine respect. The man who had dismissed her as hyped now had no choice but to acknowledge her incredible achievements. His skepticism had melted away, replaced by reluctant admiration for the player who had proven him and so many others wrong. The video wasn't just a nostalgic look back at her collegiate career. It was a powerful testament to the ripple effect Clark had created in the world of basketball. Caitlin brought so much new attention to the rise in women's college basketball, in the WNBA, and women's sports in general. I feel like the weight of the world is on her shoulders, and she just has this heavy burden to carry, and she does it with grace and humility. It was a reminder that Clark's legacy wasn't just about her numbers or records, it was about